Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Paola, and today I have a very special guest. Roselle, would you like to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your book?
Hi, I'm Roselle Lim. I write books that have fabulism, and it's usually about the Chinese Filipino experience. And the book that we'll be discussing today is Sophie Goes Lonely Hearts Club, and it has a matchmaker who has been outed as a failure that didn't get her certificate. So she has to match seven septuagenarians in her building to try to salvage her reputation.
I love that premise so much. I don't know. I just never knew that you would need like a certificate to be a matchmaker. I just thought that you just kind of had like an eye for the people who had like chemistry and you just did it. But
In the world that I wrote, it's more of, I think, the formality of having schools there is like it's like part of the world building. And the thing is, I had
mm,
to talk to an actual matchmaker now, and she gave me like inside info on how it is. And she said it's pretty much like a lot of like questionnaires. You have to fill out all of these
mm.
questionnaires for compatibility. It's stuff that you really want. Like, do you want to have kids? How many kids? What's your financial situation like? What do you expect from your partner for their financials to match up? So I guess it roots out all of those, like, I guess, pesky details that would be an instant no from the other person.
Oh, cool. Cool. That kind of reminds me of the episode in Zoe 101 where they're trying to match everyone up for, I think it's a school dance or something, so that nobody gets to go alone. And it was obviously like, for some reason, you couldn't go with just your friends. It wasn't like any other kind of dance. You had to go with somebody, like it was boys and girls, and you had to go with a boy, and they also had to fill out a questionnaire. It's fun. It was fun. Um, so what are some of the themes that you incorporated in this story as you revise, as opposed to things you knew you wanted from the beginning?
It's weird for me because with my process, I actually have that all laid out ahead of time. Like, I
Oh.
had to make sure that I hit all of them. Like, one of the themes that I wanted to get across is that I believe that everybody deserves love and that loneliness is something that everyone can feel. And I wanted to touch also on this examining what it's like to have parents where it's a toxic, abusive relationship, because the two books that I had before, their parents were extremely supportive and they were wonderful. I wanted to explore the darker side of that.
I love that because a lot of what I grew up with was YA, and a lot of YA was about, especially when I grew up, which was like 2010s, 2015-ish, people just did not have parents, or when they did, it was like super supportive. So it's interesting now to get to read stories about like the different kind of relationships that you can have with your parents. I appreciate the inclusion of different parental experiences. I feel like it challenges the preconceived notions that a lot of us have about what it means to even have parents.
Because in her case, she is a 20 something because she's Chinese. She has that in her where like her parents were immigrants. So she has that in her where you have to please them. Like
Yeah.
you try to make them proud. You try to get your straight A's. And it is this huge wish that she has just to get them to basically love her and to just be proud of her, blinds her or like makes her unaware of how she's being treated by them in reality.
Yeah, I love that because that's like, it's hard. I mean, you grew up with your parents, so it's like, what other option is there? Kind of looks like you don't have any options. So this next one is a game. These are like really easy 10 yes or no answers. I mean, yes or no questions for never have I ever. I'm sorry, there's a fly. Sorry, there we go. Um, never have I ever dropped a book on my face while I was reading.
I've done that.
Never have I ever hit a book I was reading.
That I haven't done.
Never have I ever gone over my book budget, my book buying budget.
Oh, I've gone over, especially if it's like a romance. Like if I know my
Oh,
romance author is like releasing books that like a series or re-release of a series that I've only read at the library and I want to own the whole thing and I want all the covers to match, yeah, I've gone over.
I used to think I wasn't the kind of person that wanted all their covers to match and all that stuff. And then I was like, no, I do want my covers to match. And it's a lot of money, but I feel like it's worth it. It's
Yeah.
worth it. Never have I ever cried while reading.
Oh, I've cried.
Never have I ever laughed out loud at a book.
I've done that and it's in public places and that was fun.
Right? People are always like, never have I ever missed a meal so I could read.
Why not do both? I've never missed a meal. I will have a book by my side. I don't care. Especially, it's like the best thing for you if you're eating alone. If you want to eat
Yeah,
alone, you always like your book is your date. You have it right
yeah.
there in front of you. You're eating and you're reading and you're like being completely entertained. It's like the perfect date.
I love that reasoning. Yeah, I'm gonna apply that. Never have I ever waited in my car reading.
I have, but it's different in that I find that when I'm reading in the car nowadays, it's on my phone. Like
Yeah,
it'd be an ebook or something, so it's just a little bit easier than obviously toting like a physical book with you in your purse.
but never have I ever met a book model.
Oh, I wish I was there. I've heard so many stories about like Romance Times, the conference where they have the book models walking around. I don't know. Have you heard?
No, I didn't know
They
that
used
they
to
did
have,
that.
yeah, they used to have like the conference before. I don't think they hold them now, but I've heard like you have like the really like very good looking book models just walking around the floor. And I would be like, I would just be like, hee hee, from far, respectful distance from far away, just
Yeah.
staring. Like I would not be the ones who'd be up close going, can I touch if it's real? Not one of those people.
Can I touch if it's real? Oh my God. Oh my God. How exciting. I did not know that was a thing. That conference or that type of conference needs to return. I would like to see authors meet their book models and be like, hey, this is the face. I would love that. It's real, it's not made up. Never have I ever wished to live in a book.
I didn't really before until I kind of wrote the book that I wanted to live in, which is Vanessa. It's set in
Mm,
Paris and all of my it was like my foodie dream fantasy. I put all
yes.
in there, so I am all set between like the clothes, the food, everything. Yeah, like I all of my needs are taken care of. The only thing missing would be a cat, but yeah, it's I'd want to be in there.
Ah, me too. That book is truly like romanticize your life. I love that. And finally, never have I ever hugged or kissed a book.
I think I did that more when I was little. I definitely did it when I was little when I had like my favorite novels. The older that I am, I hug them when I'm coming out of the bookstore, but that's a different
Mhm.
story of just hugging them after you're reading them, you know? But yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's sweet though. I love that. And finally, what do you hope readers get from Sophie Goes Lonely Hearts Club?
I hope that they see older people in a different way. This book is a love letter to my grandparents and I love spending time with them because when they would sit down, they go to the grocery store. I love going with them because,
Hmm.
it's just spending time with them. And when they play mahjong, they tell the funniest stories and it's like they're rowdy. They can get pretty rowdy and it's all of these things where you don't think about it until I guess when you get older too. The older that you get, the more that you see them because God willing that, everything's great, that you would live to be that old
Uh-huh.
to look at it. And honestly, after writing this book, I started making plans. Not funeral plans or anything, but like but like plans of what I want to do when I'm at that age, like and what I would want to do in my 60s and my 70s if I'm lucky enough to live that long.
Oh, I love that. That's a great message to live with. So thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate our chat. It's been fun.
Thank you for having me. It was really wonderful to talk to you.
I wish nothing but the best for Sophie Go's lovely, lovely story. People at home, thank you for watching. Don't forget to check out the description below for buy links and the link to Roselle's website. Shout out to Tara who helped coordinate this. And yeah, we will see you hopefully in another one soon.